Hi everyone, it's Bree here and Jack. He's,
Hi.
he's my nurse at the moment. I'm recovering from my laser eye surgery that I had yesterday. And so it's been about 26 hours from the surgery, and I thought it might be a good time just to do a little update and just tell everyone, hey, I'm okay and I'm still alive and everything's good. And I thought it might be just good to do a video view of my experience rather than write it all out, because I have lots to say and lots to share, and hopefully it might help those who might be thinking about getting surgery or they're just curious about the procedure. So a little bit of background. I've been wearing glasses since I was about 16, and I had short-sightedness in my left eye and some, pretty interesting astigmatism in my right. And this year my optometrist said, hey, you might actually be a candidate to get some surgery. So we looked into it, and here we are now. So I've had the surgery as of yesterday. So anyway, a little bit of a story that I can spin for a couple of minutes. So today is the Friday the 6th of March, and I had my surgery yesterday on the 5th, and it was in the morning at about 10 o'clock in the morning. So, and it was a bit of a drive to Melbourne, so it was exciting and a bit terrifying at the same time. So we got to the surgery about 9 o'clock, and the nurses offered me a Valium tablet just to calm my nerves to start off with. And I've never taken Valium before in my life, so I had no idea what to expect. And I was a little bit anxious and excited. So when I took the Valium, I still don't notice any difference at all. I have no idea if it even worked. So anyway, we're sitting in the little waiting area, just chilling out for a bit, and the nurses come in and they come to collect me, and we went into the assessment room. And then they started to do some preparation work before the surgery. So they put in 2 different drops into my eyes. So the first one was just the antibiotic stuff just to kickstart the body in fighting any potential infections. And the other one was Voltaren drops just for any anti-inflammatory responses before the surgery. And then they let that wait for about 10 minutes, and then they led me into the surgery area. So it's like a little surgery waiting room. And there's these 2 little recliner chairs, which were really comfortable. And we sat down. My dad was with me on the day as well, so he drove me up. And so he got to see this all going on. And as soon as you go into the surgery area, you have to put on the little protective coat, and you put your hair up in a hairnet. And you sit back, and the nurse comes over, and she administered some of the the anesthetic drops. So that just goes into my eye, and suddenly, I can't really feel my eyeball anymore, so it gets a bit wacky. And then the next part was, once that settled for a couple of moments, she puts on the, it's like an antibacterial pasty wipe thing. It's like a really bad tan kind of looking stuff. And my dad was joking at me that it looked like a bit of a mud pack gone wrong. So, but I'm like, I couldn't see anything because it's on me, and there was no mirrors, so I had no idea. And then there was a final check with the nurse, and she just wanted to make sure, after the surgery had happened, what kind of medications I can take. So we were just checking and making sure that I was okay to take Nurofen. The other offering was Panadeine Fort, but last time I was prescribed that from a previous surgery, it didn't really go down so well. So I thought, well, you know what, we'll play it safe, we'll just stick to the stuff that I'm comfortable with. So Nurofen it is. And then they made up a little blue bag for me, which has like all the medicines and instructions in it, and all the goodies. And Jack's all over that, and he's been reading the instructions on what to do. So anywho, so sitting in the chair for a couple of minutes, and while we're sitting there, we can hear some of the other surgeries taking place right in front of us. And you can hear when the laser machine fires up, it makes a really distinctive sound, and it's sort of like a clicky sound. It's a bit like if you ever go to Science Works and you see the Tesla coil thing, and you can hear like a zzz, zzz, but it's like a really sort of snappily timed sound. But anyway, it sounded pretty cool. And then a couple of minutes later, the doors open, and one of the other patients sort of walks out, and they're walking out, being able to see. It's amazing. And then it was my turn to go in. And so I walk in, and it's not a very big room. It's maybe about 5 meters by 5 meters, and it's got 2 tables in there, and there's other, so there's the machine that I'll be going under, and then there's another machine that they use for some of the other types of surgery. And then there was 3 people in there. So there's 2 nurses, the assistants, and the surgeon. And my surgeon was Dr. Stephen Bree, and he's had many years of experience, and I'm trusting him with my life. And I'll go in there, and they do a final check, and they just make sure, I am who I am, and they double check the prescription, and they check, just a few other details. they gave me the basic plan of what they were going to do, which was because one eye is different than the other, they had to do 2 different pieces of software. So being, the photorefractive keratectomy, they had to put the contact lens on the end, and there's no flap created or anything like that. So the right eye was going to be treated differently to the left because it had astigmatism and not just normal short-sightedness. So they said they're going to do the right eye first, then they'd sit me up, and then they'd fix up the machine to do the left eye, and then they'd go and do the left eye. So anyway, so I walk over to the machine, and the nurse gives me these 2 squishy balls, and they're like little stress balls, just in case you feel a little bit, tense during the procedure. And I was a little bit terrified and excited, walking in that room. I mean, from a science perspective, it looked really cool, but from a, oh my God, this thing's going to start doing stuff to me, I was like, oh, that's going to be very interesting. So the nurse instructs me to lay down on the bed, and it's a bit like a massage table, a really big one. And you lay on your back, and there's like a little leg rest that you can rest your legs on, so your back doesn't get too stressed out. And you lay your head back, and there's like a little groove where you can put your head in. And then once it goes in, you can't really move your head too much at all, which is really good, because some people go, oh no, do you move? You can't really move once you're down in it. And then you look straight up, and you can see the head of the machine, and it's got 2 lights. There's a red light, which they ask you to keep focusing on during the whole procedure as best as you possibly can. And then there's like another light, which is like a green light. I'm not sure what that was there to do, but it was still pretty trippy anyway. And as they're calibrating the machine, you can kind of see a bit of a kaleidoscope of colours as it's sort of moving and getting aligned. So the next thing was, as I'm laying back, they just start to do the final prep work before they actually start the procedure. So they make sure the eyelashes can't move and they're all taped down. They put the little hooks in to make sure the eyelids can't actually move, so you can't blink. They put the drops in to suppress your ability to blink. So your eyes are open, and they're moisturised anyway, so that you don't feel like you need to. So that's a good thing. Then I think they put like a cover over the top of your eyeball, and it just exposes the cornea. And then he puts in a couple more drops, just make sure everything's good to go, the machine's aligned. Then he starts to remove the epithelial layer, which is the outer layer of your cornea first, for me, and so he takes it off. And while I'm watching the red dot, he's doing this, and the red dot sort of goes from being a red dot to being like a weird, wacky line thing that's going everywhere while he's doing the work on removing the layer. So the best thing I can relate that to is if you've ever used Winamp Media Player and you've used the visualizations and you've watched how the line changes to the music, it's a bit like that, but like with a red line, really. And that was pretty funky. And then the next part was then they put some special compound over the top of the cornea, so when it's all exposed. And it's just there to protect against corneal haze and stop some weird things happening later on. And it has to go on for a very specific period of time. So you hear the nurses count out numbers, and it gets to a number, and then they stop, and then they wash your eye. And then the next part is they set up the laser, and then there's like little nodes come down, and I could kind of notice that there's these nodes because my vision hasn't been blocked at all. Like I could still notice colour and movement. And then they fire up the laser, and it makes this distinctive noise. And you don't feel anything at all. Like it sort of sounds like a hairdryer almost. So that's probably the best thing I could relate it to. And then the vision sort of goes a little bit opaque while it's doing the firing of the laser. And that only goes on for about 10 seconds. And at this point, I'm feeling a little bit tense because I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm squeezing the little balls, and I'm just taking a couple of deep breaths and just doing the best I can to stay relaxed. And then it's over and it's done. What
about the burning smell?
There is a little bit of a burning smell that happens too. So it's like the smell of burning flesh, but it's not really overpowering. It's like a little bit of charcoal, but that's about it. And then I think they put a couple more drops in my eyes, and they just like washed it. They checked it, checked everything over. Then the surgeon puts on the contact lens, which is meant to be a clear band-aid for the next 7 days. So that goes onto the top of the eye. And at that point, the red dot became so clear, like I could see it. And I'm like, oh my God, it's even better than what it was when I first laid down before they even started the procedure. And they go, yep, that one's done. And then they sat me up, and then they said, yep, now it's time to do the other eye. So then they fixed up the machine to do the other eye. And it was the same again. It was the same procedure, same over again. So the same wacky lines and the same, sounds and all that, just rinse and repeat. But I can honestly tell you, once they put the contact lenses on, it was an immediate effect. You could immediately see the difference. and it was just incredible. Even in a darkened room, you could notice the difference. And anyway, so they did the other eye, and it took about 15 minutes for the whole thing. So in and out, and it's done. And the scary part only took probably 20 seconds tops, really, and then that was done. And then, yeah, once it was over, got off the table, and I said thank you to the surgeons and the assistants. They did a really good job, and the surgeon was really happy with how things went. He said, yeah, it was a really, really good job, and I did well, even though I was really terrified. So, yeah, I was able to hold my nerve, and I checked. I said, yeah, did I move? And he goes, no, you didn't move. No, you were fine. And there's a bit of a safety switch with the laser that if it does detect movement, it sort of stops its operation, and, they made sure that, you're okay. But everything was fine. And so they led me out of the surgery room, and everything was going pretty well. And anyway, and then we sit down at this little chair, and they put on these little things, these little eye shields. So walking out with these, and they're on the top of my face, and then they put the sunglasses on, and it's all taped down. And so I'm looking a bit like a bug-eyed freak. It's a bit weird. But I'm able to see, and I could see my way out of the building. I mean, it's a little bit hazy, but you can still make out objects and things, and you can still, find your own way. But I had Dad help me out of the building, and he drove me back down to Geelong. And I can honestly say, yeah, driving along, I'm looking at cars' number plates, and I'm like, I can make out the letters, and all the things that have been a problem in the past were just not a problem. I could just read things without any difficulty whatsoever. I could read signs like 50 metres away and make out what the text was, and it was really exciting. So it's kind of like seeing the world differently. It's really crazy. It's like another person's pair of eyes you're looking through. It's really weird. So anyway, we got home. We had the medicine bag, and by then, the anaesthetic had started to wear off a little bit, and my eyes were starting to sting a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. Like, it was manageable. You put the eye drops in and everything just settles right down, and it's not really
Give it a couple of days.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a couple of days. So, and that was fine. Then, came home, had some lunch. They tell you to sleep as soon as you get home. So I did have a sleep from about midday through to about 2:30. Yeah, body didn't want to go for 4 hours sleep. It said, 2.5 hours was fine, because I kind of kept my eyes closed most of the way in the car on the way home. And the sleep really did help. I had my music on, it just put me straight to sleep. I wasn't really in any distress at all. Then I woke up, and Jack did an amazing job of reading through all the instructions and making sure that all the meds were there and everything was right, and he's got the process down pat. So he gave me my first round of eye drops, and I think he secretly enjoyed it too. He gets to hold me down and make sure. So I'm getting used to the fact I've got to put eye drops in. So yeah, for a while there, I've never had to do it, and so yeah, for the first time in a long time, I'm getting all these eye drops put in my eyes on a regular basis. So I'm just getting used to it. And then I was getting a bit restless in the afternoon yesterday, so I did a little bit of yoga and a bit of stretching, and that felt really good. So I was able to do that, and we had a couple of visitors come over too. So Mum and Dad and my brother, they've all come over, and I've got I had to wear the eye shields for the first 24 hours, so I'm looking like this, and they're just checking up on me, but I can see them in clear detail, and it's amazing. We watched a little bit of TV, and we played some card games, and went to bed at about 11:30. Slept for probably 6 or 7 hours. I remember waking up at about 6 o'clock in the morning this morning, and my eyes were just stinging. It was like the sensation of having soap in your eyes when you go in the shower, but it wasn't too bad, because my body was responding to it by producing tears, and so the tears were kind of offsetting the feeling of the stinging. But what ended up happening was I had all these tears running down my face. I'm not crying, it's just that was stinging. And I woke Jack up, and he was able to get me some of the moisturising eye drops and put those in, and everything just settled down again. And I was able to go back to sleep for a couple more hours. So had a really good sleep in this morning and feeling pretty good. And yeah, have you got anything to add there, Jack?
No, I think you got it all.
I think I got it all. Yeah, so today we got out of bed, and so we did the whole eye drops thing again. So there's a procedure. You've got to do the antibiotics and then the anti-inflam about a minute apart. Then you wait, and then you wait 20 minutes, and then you put the moisturising drops in. So there's a bit of an order to how things have to go in. And then we went shopping. So we thought, you know what, I'm not too light sensitive. I'm actually able to walk around without too much trouble, and I don't have to wear the eye shields full time. I only have to wear these when I go to sleep. And so I grabbed my old pair of sunglasses that don't have prescription lenses in them, and we went to the shops, and I was walking through Safeway with a pair of these on, and that was really good fun. And I was able to look at all the food labels and the aisle numbers, and yeah, it was just fantastic. So all the simple things that a lot of people take for granted are just really exciting to me right now. So I'm really enjoying it. So anyway, and then we had pancakes. So we had pancakes for breakfast, which was a bit of a treat. And you have to say, organic butter is amazing in pancakes. Just saying. Anywho, I think that's all I have to say for the last, couple of hours and couple of days. So hopefully things keep progressing well, and hopefully, I'm not in too much pain, because they say the third day is usually pretty rough. But so far so good. I'm not in any pain. I've hardly had to touch the Nurofen at all. We just keep up the eye drops and doing what the doctors ordered, and yeah, we're all good. So anyway, so thanks for watching, and I miss you all, and yeah, I'll talk to you all again soon. Thank you. Bye.